My wife cheated with her married junior employee, called it just emotional. So I told his wife, sent HR the proof, and filed for divorce before she could beg. I run an indie bookshop on the quiet end of Hawthorne Street. Nothing fancy, just 2 floors of carefully curated books, a reading nook with leather chairs, and security cameras I installed myself after some teenager tried to swipe a signed Murakami last year. The cameras are good quality. They catch everything. My name's Usko. I'm 34, married 8 years to Dulia, and father to the smartest 6-year-old you'll ever meet. Iris has her mother's thick curls and my habit of organizing everything by category. She arranges her stuffed animals by species, then by size. Kids going places. Dulia works as a pastry chef at La Nouvelle, one of those places where desserts cost more than my lunch. She's brilliant at what she does, can make sugar look like glass, chocolate look like silk. Her schedule's always been chaos. She leaves before dawn to prep croissants, comes home after midnight covered in flour and exhaustion. I adapted. Someone had to be there for Iris's bedtime stories. The bookshop closes at 9. I'm home by 9:30, relieving our neighbor Mrs. Chen who watches Iris after school. My daughter and I have our routine, homework, dinner, bath, 2 chapters of whatever we're reading. Currently it's the Phantom Tollbooth. She thinks Milo's an idiot for being bored when there's so much to explore. That's my girl. Dulia usually stumbles in around 1, sometimes later if they're prepping for a wedding or some food critic's coming. She'll shower, slide into bed smelling like vanilla extract and burnt sugar, mumble something about tomorrow being easier. I stopped believing that 6 months ago, but I kept my mouth shut. Marriage is about compromise, right? That Tuesday night, I couldn't sleep. Not sure why. Maybe it was the October wind rattling our windows, or maybe my subconscious knew something I didn't. I lay there until 2, then gave up and headed downstairs for water. Her phone sat on the kitchen table, forgotten in her exhaustion. The screen lit up as I passed, a notification banner stretching across the locked screen. Sawyer, can't wait for tomorrow night, black heart emoji. I stood there holding my empty glass. Sawyer. I knew that name vaguely. Someone from the neighborhood? Another chef? My chest felt strange, like someone had reached in and squeezed. I picked up the phone. I knew her passcode, 0419, our anniversary. My thumb hesitated over the numbers. Once I looked, I couldn't unlook. But that emoji. That black heart. At 2 in the morning. The Messages app opened. The thread with Sawyer went back 4 months. I scrolled up, my legs going numb as I stood there in my boxers in our dark kitchen. The text started professionally enough, something about wine pairings for the restaurant. He worked at Vintage Grove, the wine bar 3 blocks from La Nouvelle. Made sense they'd coordinate. But then the tone shifted. Jokes became flirtation. Flirtation became plans. Dulia, Terry thinks I'm staying late for inventory. Sawyer, perfect. I'll tell Ren I'm doing staff training. Dulia, your place or the usual? Sawyer, usual. Bring that dress from last week. My hands were steady. That surprised me. I sat down at the table and kept reading. There were photos. Nothing explicit, but intimate, her laughing at a table I didn't recognize, him pouring wine, their hands touching. Selfies in his car. Her wearing earrings I'd never seen. Every late night at work for the past 4 months mapped perfectly to their conversations. Every Saturday she'd taken extra shifts. Every wine tasting she'd attended for menu development. Sawyer, last night was incredible. Dulia, I can still taste that Bordeaux. Sawyer, that's not what I meant, smirking face emoji. Dulia, I know what you meant. I set the phone down exactly where I'd found it, screen position perfect. Went back upstairs. Sat on the edge of the bed and watched her sleep. She looked peaceful, one hand tucked under her pillow, wedding ring catching streetlight from the window. I didn't wake her. Didn't confront her. Instead, I grabbed my laptop from the nightstand and went to the guest room. Opened an incognito browser. Started screenshotting everything from her phone through our shared iCloud. Every message. Every photo. Every timestamp. By 5 a.m., I had 4 months of evidence organized in folders. And I was just getting started. By 6, Dahlia's alarm went off. I heard her shuffle to the shower, same routine as always. I closed my laptop, walked back into our bedroom like I'd just woken up, kissed her goodbye at the door. She tasted like toothpaste and lies. Another late one tonight? I asked, handing her the travel mug of coffee I'd made. Yeah, we're testing new lamination techniques for croissants. Could be past midnight. She didn't meet my eyes. 4 months of practice made her a smooth liar. I'll keep dinner warm for you. She squeezed my hand, grabbed her keys, and left. I watched her car disappear, then went to wake Iris. My daughter chattered about her school project on butterflies while eating cereal. I nodded, asked the right questions, packed her lunch. Normal dad stuff. My phone sat heavy in my pocket, full of screenshots that could detonate my life. But Iris didn't need to know that. Not yet. Maybe not ever, if I played this right. After drop-off, I opened the bookshop and let my assistant manager, Jerome, handle the morning customers. I had research to do. First, I pulled up our shared Google Calendar on the shop's computer. Every one of Dahlia's late nights matched perfectly with gaps in Sawyer's social media activity. His Instagram, public, the idiot, showed him at wine tastings, restaurant events, always ending by 9 on nights she worked late. Then nothing until morning. Our credit card statements told another story. Charges at restaurants I'd never heard of on her work nights. Small amounts, $30 here, $50 there, probably splitting bills. She'd been sloppy, using our joint card instead of her personal one. Or maybe she wanted to get caught. I opened our home security app on my phone. We had cameras on the front door and driveway, mainly to track packages. I scrolled back through weeks of footage. There, 3 weeks ago, a Thursday. Dahlia arriving home at 1:47 a.m. She sat in her car for 5 minutes before coming in, head tilted back, probably gathering herself. The resolution was good enough to see her reapplying lipstick in the rearview mirror. But the real gold was in her work iPad, synced to our home network. She never logged out of her work email, and the browser saved her passwords. Amateur move for someone running a 4-month affair. Her expense reports made me laugh, actually laugh out loud in my empty office. She'd been filing dinners with Sawyer as vendor meetings and menu consultations. The restaurant was reimbursing her for dates with her boyfriend. The receipts showed 2 entrees, 2 wines, always at places far from La Nouvelle. She'd attached notes, discussing seasonal ingredients with local supplier and evaluating wine program competitors. Then I found something that made my blood run cold. 3 weeks ago, she'd submitted overtime for a Saturday she'd spent with him. I had the texts proving they were at his place from noon to 10. She'd claimed she was making wedding cake samples. Billed 12 hours at time and a half. That wasn't just betrayal. That was fraud. I downloaded everything. Uploaded it to 3 different cloud services. Printed hard copies and locked them in the shop's safe. Then I did something I'd been avoiding. I looked up Sawyer properly. Sawyer Kovac, 28, junior sommelier at Vintage Grove. Married 3 years to Ren Kovac, née Brennan. She ran a landscape architecture firm called Terraform Design. Their website showed her, professional headshot, confident smile, list of awards. They had twin boys, according to a charity fundraiser photo from last spring. The 4 of them looked perfect. Happy. My shop had a security camera in the alley that faced the back entrance of Vintage Grove. I'd installed it after someone tagged my dumpster with graffiti. The angle was perfect, caught everyone going in or out of the wine bar's employee entrance. I pulled up the footage. Tuesday, 2 weeks ago, 11:47 p.m. Dahlia and Sawyer leaving together, his hand on her lower back. Thursday, same week, 12:15 a.m. them kissing against his car. Saturday afternoon, last week, her arriving at 2 p.m., him letting her in the back door, both looking around first. I had everything. Texts, photos, financial records, video surveillance. 4 months of deception cataloged and cross-referenced. It was 4 p.m. when I made the decision. I picked up my phone and called Lawrence, a lawyer friend who specialized in family law and bought first editions from me. Lawrence? It's Usko. I need a pie and a divorce attorney. Today. Lawrence didn't ask questions. That's why I called him. I'll text you 2 names, he said. Both are excellent. Discreet. The pie can start tomorrow. By evening, I'd hired both. The pie, a woman named Torres who looked like someone's grandmother until you noticed her eyes, sharp as surgical instruments. The divorce attorney, Rashid, had a reputation for being ruthless with cheaters. Perfect. Torres worked fast. Within 3 days, she had a complete profile on Sawyer and Ren Kovac. Ren ran her landscape firm out of a converted warehouse downtown, employed 12 people, had just landed a contract to redesign the botanical gardens. She coached their twin soccer team, served on the school board, donated to the food bank. A pillar of the community, married to a man spending his Tuesday nights with my wife. He's sloppy, Torres told me over coffee at a diner 2 towns over. Uses his credit card everywhere, posts his location on social media, keeps a regular schedule. Wanna guess where he is every Tuesday and Thursday night? Wine tastings? She slid a folder across the table. Photos of Dahlia entering a boutique hotel downtown, Sawyer arriving 15 minutes later. Different dates, same pattern. Always room 412. They'd been meeting there for months. There's more, Torres said. I talked to my contact at the wine bar. Your wife's been attending their industry nights, free tastings for restaurant workers. She signs in as staff from La Nouvelle, brings expensive desserts as samples. Management loves her. But here's the interesting part. She showed me receipts. Dahlia had been buying those dessert ingredients on La Nouvelle's account, claiming them for menu development. Then she'd take the desserts to Vintage Grove, where Sawyer would photograph them for his Instagram, tagging the restaurant like it was some official partnership. They're both padding their resumes, Torres explained. She looks like she's networking, he looks like he's bringing in high-end collaborations. Meanwhile, they're stealing from their employers to fund their affair. I stirred my coffee, processing. How much? Between the ingredients, the overtime fraud, and his wine samples that mysteriously disappear? North of 15,000. Each. The number hit me like cold water. This wasn't just cheating anymore. This was criminal. That night, Dahlia came home early, actually early, around 10. Said the kitchen equipment broke, they had to close. She curled up next to me on the couch, her head on my shoulder, watching some baking show. Like nothing was wrong. Like she hadn't been in hotel room 412 the previous night. You okay? She asked. You seem tense. Just bookshop stuff. Inventory season. She kissed my cheek. Want me to make you those lemon bars you like this weekend? That'd be nice. Iris came patting down in her pajamas, claiming bad dreams. Dahlia scooped her up, all three of us on the couch now, our daughter between us. The perfect family picture. I wondered how many more of these moments we'd have. Thursday came. Dahlia texted that she'd be late, new pastry technique training. I told her I'd leave the porch light on. Instead, I sat in my car outside the boutique hotel, watching. Torres had given me the timeline. Sure enough, 9:15 p.m., Dahlia's car pulled into the garage. 9:30 p.m., Sawyer walked through the lobby like he owned the place. I didn't follow them up. Didn't need to. Torres had already confirmed with hotel staff that room 412 was regularly reserved under Sawyer's company card, filed as client entertainment. I drove home, relieved Mrs. Chen, read to Iris, tucked her in. Then I sat at my desk and organized everything into 3 folders. One for Ren Kovic, every photo, every receipt, every timestamp. A complete map of her husband's betrayal. One for HR at both companies, evidence of expense fraud, time theft, misuse of company resources. One for my lawyer, grounds for divorce with cause, custody arguments, financial documentation. Rashid had already started paperwork. The divorce filing would request emergency custody based on Dahlia's erratic schedule and questionable judgment. The financial fraud would make her look unstable. Unfit. Friday morning, I made Iris pancakes shaped like butterflies for her school project. Dahlia rushed through breakfast, mentioned she'd be working Saturday afternoon, a special order for anniversary party. I checked Torres's report. No anniversary party existed. Saturday was Sawyer's day off. After dropping Iris at school, I opened my laptop at the bookshop. Pulled up Ren's business email from her company website. Typed a subject line, information about your husband you need to see. My finger hovered over send. Once I pressed it, everything would change. I scheduled the email for Monday morning, 9 a.m. Then I set up a video call invitation for 9:15. Time to light the fuse. Monday morning came like a countdown ending. I dropped Iris at school, kissed her forehead, told her I loved her. She asked if mommy could pick her up today. I said daddy would be there, like always. At the bookshop, I locked my office door and waited. 9 a.m. email sent. 9:10, Ren opened it. 9:14, she accepted the video call. Her face appeared on my screen, professional backdrop of her office behind her. Mr. Usko? I got your email but there weren't any attachments. They're coming through now. Check your inbox. I sent the folder. Watched her eyes move as she opened it. The color drained from her face in real time. She clicked through photos, messages, receipts. Her breathing changed. But she didn't cry. Didn't scream. How long have you known? She asked, voice steady as stone. 6 days. Why tell me now? Because in approximately 1 hour, my wife will be served divorce papers at her workplace. I thought you deserved to know first. Ren pulled up something on her phone, still visible on our call. These timestamps. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. He told me he was training new staff. Building the wine program. She laughed, sharp, bitter. I've been handling bedtime solo for months so he could build something all right. She set down her phone, looked directly at the camera. Did you know about the money? The expense fraud? Yes. There's more. I handle our finances. Just pulled up our accounts while we've been talking. He's been pulling cash advances on the company card. 300 here, 500 there. Almost 8,000 total. We sat in digital silence for a moment. What are you planning? She asked. Divorce. Emergency custody filing. Reporting the fraud to their employers. I'm calling Vintage Grove's HR right now. They should know their sommelier is using company funds to cheat on his wife. She picked up her desk phone, then paused. Thank you for telling me. Most people wouldn't. Most people aren't married to criminals. She dialed while I watched. Asked for HR, identified herself, used words like inappropriate conduct and misuse of company resources. She forwarded them emails while on the phone. Professional, methodical, devastating. I liked her style. They're pulling him into a meeting now, she said after hanging up. Director sounded panicked. Apparently, there have been other complaints about missing wine inventory. 11 a.m. approached. The process server I'd hired texted, in position. La Nouvelle had an open kitchen. Customers could watch the chefs work. The lunch rush would be starting, the place full of food bloggers and business lunches. I'd timed it perfectly. 11:07, my phone buzzed. The server, delivered. She dropped a tray. Dahlia started calling at 11:09. 15 calls in 10 minutes. I let them all go to voicemail. Then texts started flooding in. What the F word is this? Answer your phone. This is insane. You can't take Iris. I'm coming to the shop. Please just talk to me. I texted back once, all communication through lawyers. Shop has a restraining order on file if you appear. That was a bluff, but she didn't know that. At noon, my lawyer Rashid called. She's been served. Her lawyer reached out, wants to negotiate. I told them to pound sand. Oh, and the emergency custody hearing is set for Thursday. That fast? I may have mentioned the financial fraud to the judge's clerk. Amazing how quickly they move when criminal activity might be involved. I picked up Iris from school like normal. Took her for ice cream. While she told me about butterflies and chrysalises, my phone silent screamed with Dahlia's attempts to reach me. 43 calls by the time we got home. The house felt different without the chance of her walking in. Lighter, somehow. Iris asked where mommy was. I told her mommy had to work late again. She rolled her eyes, she always works late, and went to play with her toys. That evening, while Iris was in the bath, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Mr. Rusco? This is Terence Dubois, owner of La Nouvelle. We need to discuss your wife's employment and some significant financial discrepancies we've discovered. The other shoe was about to drop. I'm listening, I said. We've been conducting an internal audit based on some concerns raised today. It appears Dahlia and another employee have been running an unauthorized catering business using our supplies and equipment. The theft exceeds $30,000. My chest tightened. Another employee? We're contacting the authorities tomorrow morning. I wanted to give you warning, considering the circumstances. I thanked him, hung up, and immediately called Torres. I need you to find out everything about La Nouvelle's staffing. Tonight. Torres called back at 10, after Iris was asleep. You're not going to believe this. The other employee is Sawyer's cousin, a line cook named Dimitri. They've been running a whole operation. Explain. They call it Midnight Table, underground dining experiences for rich millennials who want exclusive experiences. Dahlia makes the desserts using La Nouvelle's ingredients, Sawyer provides wine from Vintage Grove's inventory, Dimitri cooks with stolen proteins and produce. They've been charging $500 a head, 12 guests per event, twice monthly. I did the math. That's $12,000 a month. For 6 months. They have an Instagram account, website, the works. All while using their employer's supplies, equipment, and reputation. The scope of it stunned me. This wasn't just an affair, it was a full criminal enterprise. My wife hadn't just cheated, she'd built a whole secret life. Tuesday morning, I woke to news vans outside La Nouvelle. The story had leaked, prestigious restaurant staff arrested in theft ring. I turned off the TV before Iris could see, told her mommy had to go on a work trip. Ren texted me, Sawyer was arrested at 6 a.m. Did you know? I called her. Just found out. Delia? According to my lawyer, she turned herself in an hour ago. Posted bail already. The divorce hearing was in 2 days. This changed everything. That afternoon, Delia showed up at the bookshop despite my warning. Jerome called me from the front. I found her in the philosophy section, mascara streaking, hands shaking, not from fear but rage. You destroyed my life, she hissed. Keep your voice down or I call the police. I lost everything. My job, my reputation. Your boyfriend? Your stolen money? She stepped closer. I stepped back, ensuring we stayed in view of the security cameras. You had no right to go through my phone. You had no right to steal from your employer. Or lie to our daughter. Or risk her future for some. Don't you dare judge me. You think you're so perfect, sitting in your dusty bookshop, playing the wounded husband. You're pathetic. I stayed calm. Delia, you're on camera right now. My lawyer will have this footage in an hour. You just violated the restraining order I filed yesterday. Her face went white. You didn't. Emergency order. Granted this morning. You're supposed to stay 500 feet away from me and the shop. I pulled out my phone. Leave now, or I call the police. She backed away, knocking over a display of poetry collections. This isn't over. Actually, it is. Thursday's hearing was a massacre. Dalia's lawyer tried to argue for joint custody, but Rashid presented everything: the affair, the fraud, the arrest, the restraining order violation. The judge looked at Dalia like she was something stuck to his shoe. Given the criminal charges and demonstrated lack of judgment, I'm granting temporary full custody to Mr. Usko. Ms. Larson will have supervised visitation, pending the outcome of her criminal trial. Dalia sobbed. Not pretty tears, ugly, body-shaking sobs. Her lawyer asked for a recess. Denied. Furthermore, the judge continued, given the evidence of financial fraud, I'm ordering a full forensic accounting of marital assets. Any funds derived from criminal activity will be excluded from distribution. We walked out of court in opposite directions. I had my daughter. My business. My dignity. Friday afternoon, the story hit the food blogs. Rising pastry chef falls in fraud scandal. They'd found the midnight table Instagram. Photos of Delia and Sawyer posing with their illegal enterprise, champagne toasts with stolen wine, her desserts made from theft. But the real bombshell came Friday evening. Ren called, voice strange. Usko, my pie found something. About the hotel room. What about it? They weren't just meeting there. They were filming. My stomach dropped. Filming what? Content. For a website. They've been selling videos for the past 3 months. That's where the cash advances went, paying for cameras, editing software. I sat down hard. You're joking. I have screenshots. They used fake names but it's clearly them. The hotel room, the timestamps, everything matches. This wasn't just fraud anymore. This was about to get so much worse. There's more, Ren said. The prosecutor wants to meet with both of us Monday morning. Apparently, Dalia's lawyer is trying to make a deal. Monday morning, Ren and I sat across from Assistant DA Priya Nair in a conference room that smelled like burnt coffee and justice. Your spouses are looking at serious time, she said, spreading files across the table. The theft exceeds $30,000 each. That's a felony. The wire fraud from the online content adds federal charges. They're looking at 5 to 7 years. Ren leaned forward. What kind of deal is Delia proposing? She wants to testify against Sawyer and Dimitri, claims she was coerced. Says Sawyer manipulated her into the relationship and the crimes. I laughed. Actually laughed. I have 4 months of texts showing she initiated half their meetings. I know. Her lawyer's grasping. But here's what I need from you both, victim impact statements. The restaurants want blood. They're pushing for maximum sentences. We spent 2 hours providing statements. Ren was clinical, focused on the financial damage. I talked about Iris, about explaining to a 6-year-old why mommy couldn't come home. That afternoon, Torres called with one final gift. The website they were using? It keeps IP logs. Dahlia uploaded content from your home network 3 times. While I was home? While you were reading bedtime stories to your daughter. I forwarded everything to the prosecutor. The trial was set for December, but Sawyer cracked in November. Took a plea deal, 18 months in prison, 3 years probation, full restitution. His cousin Dimitri got the same. They rolled on Dahlia completely, providing receipts, recordings, even a business plan she'd written for expanding Midnight Table to other cities. Dahlia's trial lasted 3 days. I testified for 20 minutes, just laying out facts. No emotion. No satisfaction. Just truth. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. At sentencing, Dahlia's mother pleaded for leniency. Her lawyer talked about stress, about pressure, about a marriage that had grown cold. The judge listened patiently, then sentenced her to 3 years in state prison, 5 years probation, and full restitution to La Nouvelle, $47,000. She'd serve 18 months with good behavior. I didn't stay to watch them take her away. Had to pick up Iris from school. 6 months later, life had found its rhythm. Iris and I moved through our days with practiced ease: school, bookshop, homework, dinner, stories, sleep. She stopped asking about mommy after the 3rd month. Kids adapt faster than we think. The bookshop thrived. Turns out, local celebrity brought customers. People wanted to buy books from the guy who'd taken down a criminal ring with spreadsheets and security cameras. I hired 2 more employees, extended hours, started a weekly children's reading program that Iris helped run. Ren and I met for coffee monthly. Not dating, neither of us had the stomach for that yet. But friendship, built on shared destruction and mutual respect. Our kids became friends. Her twins taught Iris soccer. Iris taught them about organizing things alphabetically. Her landscape firm designed a reading garden behind my shop, pro bono, she insisted. Consider it karma correction, she said, watching our kids plant butterfly bushes together. The divorce finalized quietly. I got the house, the shop, full custody. Dahlia got debt and a prison number. Her family sent letters asking to see Iris. I filed them, unopened, following my lawyer's advice. Then, last week, a letter from Dahlia. From prison. The return address made my chest tight, but I opened it. 3 pages of apology. Accountability. No excuses, no blaming Sawyer, just ownership. She wanted to know about Iris. Wanted to explain herself someday, when Iris was older. Wanted permission to write letters for Iris to read when she turned 18. I sat with that letter for days. Showed it to my therapist, to Rashid, to Ren. Everyone had different advice. In the end, I wrote back. 1 line, focus on becoming someone Iris would want to know. I included a photo of Iris at her school play, dressed as a butterfly. No return address. Tonight, I'm closing the shop. Iris is asleep in the reading nook, surrounded by books about strong girls and adventure. Her little fists clutch a stuffed butterfly. She feels safe here. Safe with me. My phone buzzes. Dahlia's mother, asking again about visiting rights. I delete it without reading the full message. Some books are better left closed. Some stories don't get sequels. I lock the door, scoop up my daughter, and carry her to the car. Tomorrow we're going to the botanical gardens to see the real butterflies. She'll love that. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.